Welcome back, boys and some girls. Promised Mascot Agency isn't much of a surprise if you played other Japanese style games. Every parameter is within the expected norms, which makes the game a fun experience. With that being said, the game can lack at specific certain points, but it is again not specific to this game, but to the entire interactive anime genre of games. So some points might not even bother you, while they're probably going to bother me a lot or somebody else a lot. So just take a listen and make your own judgment about it. And as always, the subject in this video will be So the story, that's the main part of the game. You will be reading or listening to something for most of your active time in this game. This is a classic story of a super serious MC and his decision to help his matriarch at all costs, as she picked him from the streets when he was basically absolutely no one. Now their family is in trouble because somebody betrayed your family and you have been pushed aside to a small dead town to try and make up for your mistake by earning a lot of money for the family. From here on out, it's pretty much your job to get to know the town and try to revive it to actually make some money to pay back to the family. As you play more and more, you'll be revealing more about you, about your family, and about the seemingly dead town and how everything connects. The story is interesting, I have no doubt about this, and I can sit here and just spoil everything to you, but I just want you to go and experience it yourself. The story is interesting. However, know that just like most animes, it is filled to the brim with fillers and random nonsense. So consider that when you think about buying the game. For example, when you get a message that some character knows the name of somebody you have been looking for a while, they will just talk about some random stuff for maybe 15 chat boxes before actually getting to the subject. Usually it's fine when it's done in moderation, but here it's happening literally in any other sentence, or whenever somebody mentions something, then everybody just has to comment on it. And it just prolonged the conversation needlessly and endlessly. Aside from that, characters have the tendency to say the same things repeatedly to different people. So let's say we learned about the curse of Kasamachi, right? Then the next chats will probably be us explaining to 5 different NPCs what the curse is about. This is another subject that makes sense to do in front of certain NPCs that are very important for important event, as we all want to see the reactions of certain NPCs to certain events, right? But again, it happens in every random bit of information, it happens every second, every time something happens, and it just becomes very annoying and cheap. A decent example is the big tanuki statue that is at the entrance to the town in the big lake. Once we learn how it was made, we go and tell it to maybe 3 or 4 people, and it's not even an important piece of information. It only helps to shed some light on who was the first family patriarch and how he acted. Basically tell you a bit about his character. I'm not going to spoil the story for you, but I will say that I'm disappointed how it ended. It simply doesn't make any sense. It ended the way it did. I just don't know why they did it. They do give a reason, but it's just as saying, hey, the sky is pink because I said so. It just doesn't make any sense. I have a suspicion that there is another way to finish the game, but I won't spoil it. And I did talk about it in my playthrough if you want more information about it. It's very difficult to get in normal means. I'll try to get it and I'll see. The gameplay is kind of strange, it's kind of meh. You mostly dive around collecting random things or driving between cutscenes, but you also have some small mini games that you don't really have to do, or you don't even have to learn how to play them, because you don't really fail them, and even if you fail them, you don't lose the game, you just lose some rewards. And this is true all the way to the final cutscene of the game. So from the very first minigame to the very last minigame, it's the same. The main minigame is a roguelike card battler that has rock, paper, scissors like rules, which also have some action and some card cost, but as I said, you don't really need to know how to play it to win the game. So just, I don't know, I look at it as a negative, but some people who only wants the story will probably be glad, so to each their own. The other minigame comes later into the game, and it's a simple crane game where you need to take the most figurines that you can, and the more you take, the more potential money that you can have. And the main big thing, which kind of become useless pretty fast, is the Mascot Agency itself. How you send your mascot on jobs. That's pretty much what the game is named after. Gameplay wise, it is least entertaining and the most mundane part of the game. You just need to recruit mascots by talking to them and then give them a salary, and you'll be able to send them on jobs to make you small amounts of money. It's really not a ton of money, and the rewards and figurines are gonna get you a lot more than actually just what you're gonna get from jobs. And that is pretty much it for the gameplay. I could sit here and explain to you about support heroes and about how every card works and whatnot, but again, it doesn't matter. Everything is just busy work to inflate the size of the game, which I don't think the game needs like any inflation at all. It's already too big. Now for the environment of the game, it can feel very strange at times. If it is a heartfelt conversation over a phone instead of in person for no reason, or unfitting music, all of it just constantly took me out of the immersion of the game that was saved occasionally by voice actors like Pinky, who in my opinion carried this game story like no other actor felt like they were having as much fun as the one who did Pinky. Now leaving for a second the audio part, let's talk about the visuals themselves. The game is supposed to look like Japan in the Showa era, and you even get a small filter option that you can take, and it's supposed to make things look better, but in my opinion it just makes everything looks blurry and it doesn't look nice, so I didn't use it. The game doesn't feel alive, almost no NPCs exist in the world. The only one are the interactive ones like your mascots, or the ones who give your mascot actual jobs. Later on when you revive the town you can see some colorful shadow figures around, but again they don't do much, they just stand there. The building really doesn't help with everything just looking broken and run down. It's still gonna look the same at the end or at the start. No matter how much you try to revive the town, it's still gonna look exactly the same even after you donate all the money that you can to rebuild the town, which kind of made me sad during even happy moments. So I don't know what to say about that. Models and fidelity wise, the game also looks like it belongs in the Showa era, as most 2D renders looks much better than the 3D renders, which are horrible and monstrous. I just prefer the 2D renders art. It was way more clean and had more character to the characters. Overall the mood wasn't there. It was very hard for me to connect and feel for the story due to all of the above that I just mentioned. For performance I had zero technical problems, though I do have one thing that bothered me, and it is the fact that you have to be tabbed into the game for the game to actually be running, which is a shame because you need to AFK a lot to return the money. For monetization, the game costs $26. As always, it is converted for my currency, so you need to check this again yourself to see how much it is for you. And it also has a soundtrack DLC out for another $10 if you want that for some reason. So, Mascot Agency. It's the name of the game, but it's the thing that you do the least amount in the game. It's just an interactive anime where you find out what happened years ago to your Yakuza family while you're trying to solve your current problems. Now skip 10 seconds, I'll spoil something. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You don't actually solve it, somebody else does it for you. I just wish that we could actually see the previous and play as the previous Yakuza stuff instead of playing what we did now, like uncovering the past. Because it seems the story itself is interesting, what you're uncovering seems interesting, but just discovering it through other people, through stationary 2D arts, just saying it to you, doesn't feel as interesting. I'm very torn on this game. It made me have a very small existential crisis over the question if I still love anime or grew out of it. And the answer is still that I just don't know. There's a lot of things that I love and a lot of things that I don't. I can't stand the obvious plot that I can almost predict most of the time, or the copy-paste personality for all the characters in similar games or series. However, I do love the extreme emotions and the interesting stories that comes from games like this that arrive from cultures that's very different than mine. The most obvious things for NPCs in this game are like totally strange subjects to me and my cultures. Hence, this is why I'm so torn and I still don't know if I love or don't love the genre. Generally, I would recommend the game if you don't mind suffering through some fillers, a lot of fillers. It is very much like just watching an anime, like One Piece or Naruto. It's just filled with fillers, but you also get some great moments once in a while. As the story is the main aspect of the game, I will rate it differently from the gameplay, which I will just rate 5 for the gameplay and then 7 for the story. Cut the fat, and the story could have been an 8. I'm not even going to talk about how the ending makes no sense and how just all of this big secret could have been solved very easily if somebody just had a brain or one brain cell. But you can just figure this one on your own. I'm out to the next game, and in the meantime I'll just finish the game the proper way instead of doing it through the quests. But that's gonna be it. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know why so I can improve. It's how I keep you safe. See you in the next one. Bye bye.